welcome once again to another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It's episode 144, and it's the OGs are back with you once again as Steve is on vacation. I am, of course, Matt Craig, and to my immediate left, I guess it would be over this
What?
direction.
Hey, you edit it. You can put me wherever you want.
That's true. It's the joyful John Tracy. I'm, of course, meticulous Matt Craig. Happy we are with you. And John, we're happy to have you here, obviously.
Thank you.
What's going on, man? What's shaking down there in Texas? Still hot?
Yeah, it's still hot.
As hell?
Still hot.
Yeah.
Actually, it's gotten less hot over the last couple days, but starting Monday, it's going to ramp back up. So it is what it is. Welcome to the desert summer.
Welcome to the desert summer. Yeah, I was just going to say. I mean, we're kind of like hanging around the 80s, but it's kind of that humid. And yes, there is going to be a rant about what the air quality index has been a little bit later on. But yeah, so far so good. June is in the rearview mirror. We've got July. We're now second half of the year kicking off. Happy Canada Day up there to Justin Trudeau. All that kind of stuff. But yeah, happy to be here, man. It's pretty cool. 144 episodes of Two Noobs Talking, Johnny. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Doing this all over once a week. Crazy. But happy you're with us. I guess why don't we just dive right in to the fun fact and over 40 rant, brought to you, of course, by W Energy Drinks. Go to w.gg, place your order, and at checkout, enter in the promo code 2 Noobs Talking, as you see on screen, TOO Noobs Talking. You'll get 10% off your entire order for that. So just our little treat to you.
Yes.
You ungrateful people. No kidding.
You
Johnny,
people.
what do you got for? Yeah, no, we're having fun. We're having a lot of fun. Johnny, what do you got for us for the fun fact?
So this, as we were talking before we came on, popped up. So there was a proposed amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1916 that would put all acts of war to a national vote, and anyone who voted yes would have to register to volunteer for service.
How about that? Wow.
That is very interesting.
Where your mouth is, man. You know what I mean?
Very interesting.
Well, thank God that didn't go through. That's interesting. That's like right around the time frame of World War I, if you stop to think about it. That was like 1914 to 18 when that was happening. So 16. That's interesting. Wow. Huh. It's interesting. I don't know.
Yes.
What do you think about that? Like, and let's quickly talk about it.
I'd rather take the power out of the idiot's hands.
Yeah.
A national vote. I mean, now the population's a little too big for that.
Yeah.
And there's the military industrial complex is too big for that. So
exactly.
So on and so forth. Back then, that probably was a good floated idea, I would think.
Yeah, would seem to be, I would think, because you think like the country probably, I'll have to look this up a little bit later on, with the total population, was probably about 150, maybe 180 million. Get ballparking it. Steve, you can check it later when you're back from vacation, if you wanted to. But yeah, I would think, I mean, and back then, that culture was totally different. You got to think about that too, Johnny. You know what I mean? Like, no one was volunteering. You were drafted to go in.
Yes.
To the military back then. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Wow. Huh. Yeah, man. I can't even imagine having that kind of a vote now. That would be crazy. That'd be absolutely crazy. For sure. For my rant, Johnny.
Yes. Get him, Matt.
This wildfire up in Quebec, I've had just about enough of it. I like, seriously, like this smog that has been just festering over not only just like the Philadelphia area, but it was like over Chicago, and like Chicago was under this smog for like at least, I think it was 2 days before it finally lifted out of here. Yes. It's like, Trudeau, what the hell are you doing up there, man? Seriously, like, are you just partying with your blackface costume up there? Like, and not doing a thing about it? Like, what are you doing, man? Honestly.
Being a jerk.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, put the fire out, for crying out loud. Like, what's taking? I don't know. I don't know how big the fire is. I plead ignorance to that. But to me, it's kind of like, dude, like just get like any sort of water up there and just put the fire out, please. It's like killing my air filters in here. It's like every once in a while, like go up to like 88, 90%, then back down to 85, and then the fans come on, and it's back up to 88, and then back down to 85, 88, 84. It's like, gotta turn it off, that kind of deal, Johnny.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, hopefully it will go away soon for you.
Yeah. I'm just complaining. It's my
Blame
right
Canada. Blame Canada.
Yeah, I'm blaming Canada on Canada today. Absolutely. As we're recording this. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, speaking of complaining, Johnny, let's just go ahead and dive into topic one, right? I mean, I hate to start this off on a down low because normally I'm a positive person, as you know.
Yes.
But topic one, this one kind of got us fired up, no pun intended.
Oh, absolutely.
On that one. Mamma Mia. New York City rules crackdown on coal, wood-fire pizzerias must cut carbon emissions by up to 75%. New York Post article here. And this is really an amazing article and a piece. It's been talked about all around. If you've like perused some of the podcasts out there, YouTube, it's really outrageous. And this is right from the article here. Historical Big Apple pizza joints could be forced to dish out mounds of dough under a proposed city edict targeting pollutant-spewing coal and wood-fired ovens, the Post has learned. The New York City Department of Environmental Protection has drafted new rules that would order pizzerias or eateries using a decades-old baking method of wood and coal to slice carbon emissions by up to 75%. DEP spokesman Ted Timbers, we're not making that name up, Ted Timbers said in a statement on Sunday, quote, "All New Yorkers deserve to breathe healthy air, and wood and coal-fired stoves are among the largest contributors of harmful pollutants in neighborhoods with poor air quality. This common-sense rule, developed with restaurant and environmental justice groups," can we stop right there and go like, are you kidding me right now? "Requires a professional review of whether installing emission controls is feasible." So this rule basically would require pizzerias with such ovens to installed prior to May of 2016 to buy pricey emission control devices, with the owner of one Brooklyn joint says he's already tossed in $20,000 to install these things. And it just goes on and on. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. Really can't afford $20,000 for this. City official later said that under 100 restaurants total would be impacted by this. So you can go ahead and do that math. You're talking over $2 million, I would think. Hopefully, Steve will correct me on that, I'm sure. One pizza restaurateur who requested anonymity told the Post that sensitive negotiations are currently taking place with the Department of Environmental Protection officials on whether to grandfather in or exempt the dozens of coal and wood-fired oven pizza joints from the mandate. He says politicians and bureaucrats should stop messing with their crust. The restaurateur said, quote, "This is an unfunded mandate. It's going to cost us a fortune, not to mention ruining the taste of the pizza, totally destroying the product." Johnny, reactions, thoughts to this? This is quite something else, right?
I 100% agree with that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the three problems I have with this is, A, this should be a government-funded project. This should not be a mandate that just says, oh, since you have an old pizzeria joint here, you need to spend the money. We're not helping. That's bureaucratic bullshit at its finest. That's when they know. That's when they know they're wrong, when they make you pay for it. When they know they're right, they chip in money. When they know they're wrong and they're just pushing an agenda, that's when they make you pay for it because they can go, well, we didn't tell you to do it.
Yeah.
It's the whole Fauci thing. I didn't tell you to stay home, but you did. It's the same script for every single thing. It's literally the same script. They're putting pressure on these pizzerias because they want more control. That's all Adams wants. He just wants, look what I'm doing. To his buddies in Washington, look what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up Pick me for a environmental person or give me the better job because look what I'm doing. I'm making people
Yeah.
do things. That's
Yeah.
all this is. It's a dog and pony show.
No question.
And they're
No
going to
question
ruin
about it.
pizza.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's perfectly exclaimed in the next quote from this restaurateur. If you F around with the temperature in the oven, you change the taste. Yeah, no
Yes.
question about that. That pipe, that chimney, it's that size to create the perfect updraft. Keep the temperature perfect. It's an art as much as a science. You take away the char, the thing that makes the pizza taste great, and you kill it. And for
Mhm.
what? You really think you're changing the environment with these 8 or 9 pizza ovens?
Nope.
I mean, that's a great quote right there. Right smack dab on the money. And to be perfectly honest, Johnny, I mean, fire is a really, really good thing. Keeps you warm during the
Mhm.
winter months, things along those lines. I think the 75%, when I read that, I was laughing hysterically
Yeah.
because it's like that is such an arbitrary figure.
Yep.
They have to reduce it by 3/4. Why not go all the way? Why not go 100% all the way? If it's that bad, New York City Department of Environmental Protection, let's reduce it by 100%. Why do we have to reduce it by 75?
Yeah.
And the point being, like, this is ridiculous. Let's just not throw something at the dartboard and see if the shit sticks.
Mhm.
In that regard. I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous in regards to this. And I think the cost too, on top of it. Johnny, $20,000 for
It's
these
ridiculous.
air filters
It's ridiculous.
for these things. Yeah.
But yet they
Um,
refuse to go after automobiles or their city buses or um, changing airports, changing the way planes fly. There's a million things that you can do
yeah.
to, and they refuse to do it. And what was that
Yeah.
quote about John Kerry and the private jet,
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was with Al Gore. Yeah.
or Al
Brooklyn
Gore and the
Heights.
private jet?
Yeah. Brooklyn Heights resident Savi Sharma, she's 32, a financier, brought her parents and cousins visiting from India for their first slice at Grimaldi's. And she said this quote, I'm all for responsible environmental practice, but tell
Yes.
Al Gore to take one less private jet or something. Give me a break.
Yes.
Love that. Love it. I've been bragging about this pizza to my family for like 5 years. Don't mess with this. I love that quote too.
Mm-hmm.
Jones of Paulie G's, though, said that despite the assertions to the contrary, the air scrubbers will not affect the quality of the taste or texture of the pies. Quote, if someone is trying to say that putting the scrubber in changes the flavor of the pizza, they're just going to save themselves $20,000. No, it doesn't affect what's going on inside the oven. It hasn't changed the taste, hasn't changed the pizza, hasn't changed our product at all. It goes on continuing. Under the mandate, restaurants with coal and wood fire ovens must hire an engineer or architect to assess the feasibility, I love this, of installing emission control devices to achieve a 75% reduction. If the report concludes that a reduction cannot be achieved or that no emissions controls can be installed, it must identify any emission controls. Can we just pause here and just say, like, this is absolute bullshit?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like, this bureaucracy is ridiculous. That could provide a reduction of at least 25% or an explanation for why no emission controls can be installed. How about...
That's what makes 75 so arbitrary. It's like, if you can't hit this fake number, we'll just make up another number and you can hit it.
We'll just throw it out there. What the hell?
We're going to read that this thing gets scrapped in 2 years, I guarantee you.
I hope so.
They're gonna fall flat on their face with this.
Yeah, the new DEP rules comply with Local 38 of 2015, approved by former mayor, our friend, Mayor Bill de Blasio, that communist pig, who was widely mocked after he was pictured eating with a slice of pizza with a fork and a knife. Are you kidding me? With a fork and knife.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? I mean, how do you eat your pizza? With a... Get out of here with that. It's just like unbelievable.
Regularly.
Yeah. I mean, normally it's like we make a lot of fun with New York, but this, I mean, when you attack something like this that has been a part of that culture up there for well over 100 years, right, Johnny? I mean, it's ridiculous at the end of the day. any final thoughts that you have? Like, what do you think we could do to help
It's
resolve this whole situation?
well, just
I don't
let
know what
Adam, just let Adams fall on his face because that's what he's gonna do. He literally got elected because De Blasio was the mayor before him. He's no knight in shining armor. He never was. He's never going to be. The dude is an utter goof and has messed up everything that he's done. So he won't be here that long. This will blow up in his face like everything else, like every mandate that he tried to push through.
Yeah.
Well, it'll fall. It'll fall. And hopefully, because I don't want other cities. This is my worry. If these idiots get away with that in New York City, you know, Philadelphia, Chicago, LA, they're all going to jump on this because that's what they do.
Yeah, no question.
And that's what scares me.
You know what? You remember? It kind of reminds me of that story that we had. I think it was probably about 6 or 7 months ago, where they had the Philadelphia City Council. There had a group of people that went over to this local brewery inside the city, and they pulled all of the hops out, thinking that they were weeds, and they weren't. You know what I mean? You remember that story?
Yeah. The lawnmower. They weed whacked.
With a weed whacker, they just whacked all the hops, thinking that they were weeds, and it wasn't even close to that. It's like that's what we're talking about in regards to this. So it's like, and the city ended up apologizing, but it's like, well, yeah, okay, thanks for destroying my crops, there, pal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Eric Adams, swing and a miss, pal. Swing and a miss. Well, John, I wonder what Steve's doing right now. We're recording.
Probably having fun.
I know.
Or is he driving down now? Who knows?
I wonder if he is driving down now. Yeah, or if he's there. Yeah, I wonder.
Hopefully you're there having fun.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, well-deserved vacation down there in, I think it's in Ocean City. Usually goes down there every single year. So, yeah, hopefully he's having a lot of fun. Yeah, awesome. Anyway, topic 2, Johnny. From the sublime to the ridiculous. Well, actually, another one of our Fab Five people.
Yes.
Honorary members. Dr. Rochelle Walensky of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Yes.
Headline. Yahoo article here. Outgoing CDC director says the U.S. is not prepared for the next pandemic because parts of the public health system still use old fax machines. Old fax machines, Johnny. Probably from 1846.
Most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
If it's the government, yes.
Yeah. As she prepares to step down as the director for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On June 30th, which was yesterday, Dr. Rochelle Walensky has given the U.S. a grave warning. I'm sitting down for this, Johnny. Sit down. You ready? The nation is not prepared for future public health crises. Really. Quote, to this day, some of our public health data systems are reliant on old fax machines, end quote. Well, that's great. These faxes led to significant delays across the nation during the coronavirus pandemic. Washington State, during COVID, Johnny, did you know this, even had to bring in 25 members of the National Guard to help with manual data entry from faxes. The Times reported that in July of 2020. Of course, we started the podcast, what was it, October of 2020? Yeah. So
yeah.
We didn't know about it until Austin, Texas, right around your corner, Johnny.
Yeah.
Was recording. Yeah, not too far away. They were recording deceptively low coronavirus case counts because of lags caused by faxes. Technological failures also caused vital information associated with COVID test results to get lost, causing delays and roadblocks for public health officials while contact tracing, so they couldn't spy on you.
Yes.
Walensky also pointed to a nationwide shortage of public health workers, because of course she did, suggesting that we may need up to 80,000 more people in the industry as well as skilled bench scientists to conduct laboratory research. She said this, quote, "I feel the despair from the pandemic is fading too quickly from our memories, because it is too painful to recall a ravaged nation brought to its knees, and we need to keep all of our people in fear." Oh, I'm sorry. That last part was not right.
That was not a quote.
That was not a last minute. Yeah, that last minute quote was not quite that.
We will definitely get fact checked on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Walensky also wrote, quote, "It is not enough to support public health when there is an emergency. The roller coaster influx of resources during a crisis, followed by understanding after the threat is addressed, exposes a broken system and puts future lives at risk." Yeah, well, when you rely on fax machines from 1846, Johnny, oh boy, where do we even go with this? I hate bringing up the Fab Five again on this, but old fax machines is now the problem.
Well, yeah, because everything else was debunked. She's been lying since she got in there. So this is just another. She's a Fauci 101. I have to blame it on something. Now it's the next one's gonna be bad because they don't have you in fear. You're not in fear when you go out. You're not in fear at home. Yep. You're not. She doesn't have your attention, so she has to get your attention. They're just attention seeking. The president of the United States has said that this pandemic is over. We are all back to normal life. And she's still justifying her life by going, oh, well, watch out for that next one. That next one's right around the corner because you never know. That's right. And all our failures were because of fax machines and it's because they didn't take the time with the data originally. They, from Trump down, botched this thing from the beginning, and that's all they are trying to keep their credibility alive. That's all they're doing. They botched it from the beginning, and now they're like, oh, well, it's our fax machines. Soon it's going to be
a CYA. Yeah.
Yes. It's ridiculous is what it is. I can't wait till she's gone. Not like they're going to get someone better, but at least it'll be a different voice.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember famously, she was also the one that was going to have like this outside consultant, remember, that was going to come in, we're going to audit the whole thing, we're going to make sure that everything is all up and everything
came up with fax machines. Checked.
And we're relying on old fax machines.
We had nothing to do with fake data and lying, or the fact that you were calling COVID deaths, people who died with COVID, you were calling that a COVID death, but then you got caught, and then you stopped doing that. We're not going there on the inside. We're just talking about the fax machines. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I know what we're talking about. Okay.
And also, by the way, we need to have 80,000 more people. We need to have 80,000 more people in this bureaucracy. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that get out?
Why the hell did you mandate vaccines for all the workers and then they quit? Now you need them again?
And now you need them again.
Sorry, they're doing other things.
What would 80,000 more people do in the industry? Like, I don't understand that in and of itself. Like, I guess in that regard, you want to maybe try and fact check your fact checkers. I don't know. But I mean, to be reliant on certain parts of the state that you had to bring in the National Guard to go in and verify the manual tracking.
Wasted the National Guard's time.
Goodness.
Is what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. National Guard should only be there to serve and protect the citizenry against any enemies, foreign and domestic, not have to do office paperwork. Just saying. In that regard, it's just when you talk about like the government, they're very good at doing one thing: whipping people up into a frenzy.
Yes.
Whipping people up into fear tactics. Oh, this is going to get you. Oh, this is going to get you. And the minute they say, well, we're going to protect you, and they don't,
yikes,
and they're incompetent at what they're doing. I want this to be like in this podcast. I'm going to make a note of this in episode 144 in my mind. Just go back to this episode right now and just think about, like, a couple years down the road. Let's just say like one pops up and it's a health crisis and, oh my God, what are we going to do? Just remember this. They were ill prepared, and they have been ill prepared forever. And rather than give actual good common sense advice that we talked about in pre-production, right, Johnny?
Yeah.
Where it's basically like, go out, exercise, walk, drink a lot of water, wash your hands, make sure you have social interaction more than anything else. Don't isolate yourself. Don't put yourself into a corner.
Take care of your mental health.
Yes, because I mean, when you don't have that, and you resort to something like this, and it's like you come across as this incompetent boob that can't run things. And good riddance to her too. Honestly, good riddance to Fauci. Good riddance to this girl. That's great, Rochelle. You did great. You told us that you have old fax machines in the government. That's great. You can't trace. It drives me crazy, Johnny. It's like we're doing another over 40 rant.
I really want in my lifetime to see someone come on the TV when something is going wrong, and instead of what we saw from 2020 all the way through to 2023, just the ridiculousness of them falling all over something. I just hope that one time, maybe when the kids are a little bit older, that a person in the government, which this will never happen, but I am hoping for it, will just come on TV and be like, listen, I'm with you. I understand that we have an issue. Let's be practical. Let's get through this. That would be amazing but we'll never see that. If you look to government officials for help, you will get nothing more than what you got, and then when they do their audit on themselves, they'll blame it on the fax machines.
Yeah, the fax machines or some other bullshit, and they'll just have to then say, well, we need more people. We need more people to do what exactly?
That's government 101. We need more people.
Yeah, exactly.
Government 101.
And yet it's free to basically just say, just live your life and really just take care of yourself. Just eat a little bit more vitamin C, eat a little bit more vitamin D, eat, and walk, and take the importance of walking in the sun, in a sunny day or something along those lines, or work outdoors or something like that to get enough vitamin D into your system. That's more important than having to contact trace whether or not you have COVID or not. If you do get sick, you get sick. That's why you have an immune system. But that doesn't mean you isolate yourself and put yourself into lockdown and you're wearing 55 masks on your face. That doesn't make any sense at all in that regard. So, Johnny, what are you doing on July 4th?
Absolutely nothing. I took Monday off, so I'm just having a nice long weekend.
Oh, nice.
Just treating it like a weekend.
I'm planning to set fireworks in the backyard of the parents' place. I'm really hoping not to set the backyard on fire. That's what I'm always worried about,
Yes.
In that regard, that's something.
Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it will not be on fire, for God's sakes. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun too. So, all right, Johnny. Well, let's dive in. Third topic. And this one's kind of like a very short, but I guess we'll classify this into the weird file in a way, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or the education, but the weird education file, because I didn't know any of this when I read this, and I was, wow.
It's kind of interesting, yeah. Reuters article here. South Koreans become a year or two younger as traditional way of counting age has been scrapped. Let's read into it here. South Koreans became a year or two younger on Wednesday of this last week as new laws that required using only the International of Counting Age took effect, replacing the country's traditional method. So under the age system most commonly used in South Koreans' everyday life, people are deemed to be a year old at birth, and a year is added every January 1st. The country has been, since the early 1960s, used the international norm of calculating from 0 at birth and adding a year on every birthday for medical and legal documents. But many South Koreans continued the traditional method for everything else. In December, South Korea passed laws to scrap the traditional method, fully adopt the international standard. Minister of Government Legislation Lee Wang-koo told a briefing on Monday, he said, this quote, "We expect legal disputes, complaints, and social confusion that have been caused over how to calculate ages will be greatly reduced." According to a government survey conducted in September of 22, get this, Johnny, 86% of South Koreans said they would use the international age in their everyday life when the new laws took effect. An office worker in Seoul, South Korea said this, quote, "I was about to turn 30 under the traditional Korean age system, but now I have some more time earned and I love it." The office worker is now 27, not 30. It feels great to feel like I'm getting younger. That kind of a deal. So
that's funny.
Very interesting. Another age system exists in South Korea for conscription, school entrance, and calculating the legal age to drink alcohol and smoke. Person's age is calculated from zero at birth, and the year is added on January 1st. That method for those things would remain for the time being, but they're going to probably go the international, I would think, in that regard. That's just my personal opinion. Johnny, what do you think about all this?
I didn't realize there was I didn't know
Yeah.
there was anything other than the international standards. That's what was very shocking to me.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? That you're a year old at birth,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then every
So-
January 1st, there's no
Mhm.
individuality. Everybody gains a year at the same time. It's crazy.
Wild. That's just wild.
It blew
Yeah.
my mind when I read the article. I thought everybody. I'm sure. I was pretty sure that there's probably some tribes and there's probably some countries that follow their own rules. They do not hang out in international law.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty sure of that. Reading, I had no idea that South Korea did it this way.
Yeah.
It was awesome to read. I mean, and the guy who was supposed to be 30 but is 27, hopefully there are a billion more people like him in the world, because he took it as it is what it is. I'm younger.
And it's
Awesome.
joyful. He was so happy about it too. Yeah, exactly. I think it's so fascinating, the fact that they count it as year one at birth, and then January 1 they go to the next year and not have the cyclical like year zero. Of course, like I kind of remember my first birthday, sitting in the high top chair with a cupcake in front of me, and I had a candle like that, and I was just
There
like,
you go.
I guess must have been doing something right. I don't know, that kind of a deal, but a lot of fun, just an absolute lot of fun to read this article. And the fact that it was, they've been doing this for almost like 60 some odd years, John.
Mhm.
That was the thing about it that really kind of blew my mind, that it was really since the early 60s. That's like almost a couple generations of counting that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, wait a minute. No, we're going to go now to the international stage. It's crazy. It's absolutely funny. I wonder what legal disputes they would be involved in that. What do you think in that regard?
I don't
Complaints? Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that maybe they would get some from the. No, I don't know, because they're covering all bases here. Like,
No, I'm thinking like maybe driver's license would be one, maybe.
possibly, yeah. But
Yeah,
they're doing their alcohol and their school entrance, and are following the same method, right? Yeah, they're not
Yes.
changing that method yet.
Yeah, that's going to remain. But I just
Yeah.
wonder, like in terms of a legal disputes, complaints, and social confusion.
I mean, I understand the social confusion and the complaints, because I mean, I'm 44, so if the government's just gonna change my age for funsies, I'd be a little mad. Like I'm fine counting the way we count. I don't need your.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's part of it, but I don't know what the legal disputes would be.
Yeah.
I gotta guess.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, legal disputes, complaints, and social confusion that have been caused over how to calculate ages would be greatly reduced.
Oh, that
So
makes
that's
sense.
what-
that
that
makes
makes
a lot
sense.
more sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Now that I read it, it's like, oh, wow. So, yeah, that kind of makes sense in that regard, because it's like if you're like, say, if you're under that, let's just say the old way of calculating the age, you're older than what you really are, essentially.
Yes.
So you're kind of like maybe a couple of years ahead, but now it's like you're going back. It's like, okay, now we get it. Now you're 30 and you're 27 now, as opposed to when you were now originally 30. Yeah, that has some ramifications in that regard. Yeah. But so I think from go ahead.
This was 2 years. So he was 29 until he turned 27.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
Turning so that's weird to say. Like, he was 29 years old. Now he just turned 27 with this new law.
He just turned 27. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I could imagine, like, from a retirement standpoint, maybe, I don't know what in terms of South Korea, like when they retire, but that would probably have a ramification in that regard. Imagine you're doing all of it, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, you're here. You got another couple of years before you actually retire. That'd be kind of interesting. It's like, I don't know about that, but yeah.
86% in that survey being okay with it, though. That, I guess that's a time to do something is when it's a good move by the government. You got 86% of the people that are like, I'm totally going to do this. Then you got to jump on it. And that's something that you do. See, look, people are controlling. Now, that's the people controlling the government. That's a great. We should circle that one right here. Like, this is how it's supposed to work.
This is how it's supposed to work. That's right. All right, Johnny. Well, this has been a lot of fun. Yes. Topic 4, as we arrive here, 144 of episode 144. It's been a long time since I've hosted this.
Yes, it's okay.
And I'm kind of, but we're
having fun.
We're having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, we're loving it.
Hopefully, you guys are joining us and having fun too.
Yeah, exactly. And we're really ending on a real good high note. On this one, with the 4th topic here. Phillies. Let's talk a little Phillies, Johnny. Mm-hmm. They clunked it up against the Nationals yesterday. Time of this recording. They're playing today, but one game out of 162. Ricky Bottalico isn't all that bad. Phillies, though,
but he's mad. He's mad about something. We don't know what it is, but he's mad about it.
That's right. Hey, Ricky Bo, if he ain't mad about something. Phillies ramp up Clearwater expansion with plans for shopping and housing, Johnny. A proposed $250 million residential dining and shopping complex called Ballpark Village on 13 acres just south of the Baycare Ballpark and Carpenter Field Training Complex is currently being developed by the Phillies in Clearwater, Florida. According to Mayor Brian August Sr. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Aungst.
Better than I would have.
There you go. The mixed-use component adds to the team's ongoing planning for a major revamp of the city-owned stadium facilities near U.S. Route 19 and Drew Street. I've been there. It's a fantastic minor league ballpark. If you ever get a chance to go down to Clearwater, do it. It's fantastic.
I have yet to go, but I hear
Johnny,
nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. We were, a buddy of mine and I went down and we walked to the ballpark. There was a hotel just right up the street and it was great. I mean, to be able to walk down there, walk back up to your hotel room without with no cars, none of that, fantastic. Love it. The Phillies told city officials last September that plans to make the stadium a state-of-the-art center for player development and visitor experiences hover around $300 million. It's now increased to 320. Company tied to the Phillies bought the 13 acres next to the stadium in November for $22.5 million. Meetings with city council members and January team leaders said the stadium project would include a retail component on the new property. No cost estimate, though, was provided. It looks fantastic. There hasn't been any drawings or anything of that sort. But the mayor said, quote, "This is the latest and greatest thing in professional sports and would really revitalize that entire corner. It's a high-tech, expansive rebuild that looks really exciting, not just for the avid baseball fan." Despite providing more detail about their ongoing project planning on Wednesday, the team did not tell city officials how much money they would be asking the city and Pinellas County in Florida to contribute. The mayor said the Phillies expect to submit an application with those details in August. For county bed tax dollars, it would be 6% tax collected on hotel and short-term rental stays that would help to finance this. Complex is expected to be one of several projects competing for bed test funding this year. Request for some of those dollars still is to come from the Tampa Bay Rays as they look to build a new stadium in St. Petersburg, Florida. Johnny, you've never been to Clearwater. I've been, of course, but your thoughts on this? This is great news.
If they build a complex and actually, because I've looked into going a couple times, but I just don't want to. I didn't want to go by myself, and just because nobody wanted to ever go with me, because I totally understand. Like if you're not a baseball head, it's tough to get people that want to go.
No question.
But that's what kind of turned me off on it. I was like, do I really want to just? Like, I thought about taking the boys down a couple times, but we ended up doing stuff that was more fun. Like we went to a AA game, a AAA game, and then a Phillies game one year, and we did stuff like that for vacation. That was, there wasn't enough for me to bite. But now think about it, like now my kids are a little older. I wouldn't mind making that phone call now that there's going to be like a whole restaurant bar kind of good feel, like you can hang out there have a, like, I think I would then propose that to the kids, be like, hey, you want to go to a Clearwater?
Let's do this.
It intrigues me because it seems like they're dumping a lot of money into the experience, and that's if they had like Citizens Bank Park is one of the greatest ballparks. I've been to most of the ballparks already.
Yeah.
Citizens Bank Park is just got that niche. If they can create that down there, they're gonna do what the Eagles do with training camp.
Yeah.
For spring training, and that's what they should do. That's what it sounds like. John Middleton's just a genius. I'll follow anything this guy does. He's what a smart businessman.
It's fantastic. It really is. And when I went down there in 2018, so this is like right before Harper was signed, I think in 2019. So I went down there, and really the stadium is in terrific shape. It's a minor league, like I said, it's a minor league ballpark, holds maybe about 8,000. The idea is you're going to expand a little bit more in that stadium and try and make it up to 10, which I think is fantastic. You get the Frenchie's bar on the left hand in a left field, and you're going to try and put they're going to do like pools or something like that in right field, basically for people to swim in. And they're going to do it a la what Arizona has, where they've got that split level pool out there.
Very cool.
Which I think is really cool. And I can imagine that they're probably going to build, if they're adding like an additional 2,000, you got to probably build that up a little bit higher. So you probably have like a third deck, my guess, or you maybe make it a little bit around, more seating out near towards center field, that kind of a deal. It's a great ballpark. It's fantastic. But to your point, there isn't that much in the way to actually go down. It's really just the stadium, and you got your training complexes. You don't have much in terms of retail. You don't have much in terms of like if you've got a, you want to just like grab like a quick, timeshare down there. You could do that down there. You can't really do that there. But the city of Clearwater is fantastic. Like in and around the area, it's absolutely really cool. Yeah, it's a great beach. And it's real close to Tampa Bay. So we're talking like maybe you fly into Tampa International, and then it's just rental car right into Clearwater. Is probably about a half an hour away from the airport.
That's beautiful.
It's fantastic.
And if they could create what they've done in South Philly, if they can create that down there, that's what it sounds like they're doing. That would be cool because you could spend the whole day there. Then if you got food, and if you got the food, you got the booze, you got the entertainment. That's a full day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially to and from the game. If like you're going to that game, okay, maybe you go there a couple hours early.
Like you're saying, and you can walk.
And you can walk and get something to eat, and then you head into the stadium.
What a better adult thing to have.
Absolutely.
It's just it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If I remember right too, it literally, it's so funny because it's literally like right next door, I think, to a Home Depot or something like that.
Nice.
So it's kind of just like you could see them if they're going to expand that area. You knock that out of there, and then you kind of build that retail in and around the whole stadium. I'm all for. I would take a trip down there again. I've told the parents, it's like, we got to go down. It's like they've never been. And it's let's go. It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to go down there. Yeah, for sure. And invest that kind of money.
That's funny that you said that there's a Home Depot right there. Do you know?
I think it's something like that.
Right across the street from Jerry's World and the new ballpark at Arlington is a Walmart. Right across the street. That's when you Uber over. When I used to Uber over to go to baseball games or the football game, they would drop you off in the Walmart parking lot, and then you would pick your Uber back up in the Walmart parking lot, and then you would go.
That is fantastic. Yeah, it's a Floor and Decor. I just looked it up on Google Maps. It's a Floor and Decor shop right next door. And basically, it's an entire huge parking lot, basically, where you could pull in and stop there. So that might be something where they can add it. But yeah, I could see like they've got like all the different types of fields for the complex.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see them where if they make it, they got the Joe DiMaggio complex and the baseball club. So I could see them like kind of just building that out a little bit more. Maybe you have a walkway, that kind of a deal. They've got a couple lakes in around the area. So that might be something where you're kind of just like, okay, you take advantage of that a little bit. Maybe, do something along those lines.
A restaurant on the lake there. You could do a couple restaurants, have them on the lake. That
sounds like a great time.
I can't wait. Can't wait to see it. It makes me want to go. It really, and this is what John Middleton is really good at. He makes you want to be involved because he's a businessman that actually cares. He's very much like Jeffrey Lurie. He cares about his franchise, and he cares about his players. He cares about his fans. He cares about what a better thing to do than thinking ahead. Be like, well, spring training, we can use that to help build this.
To vault, and especially let's just say you've got a fan base that really, you're talking January, February, you're snowed under.
Philly fans travel. All Philly fans travel. So if you can create something, good like this, he's gonna make his money back so quick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a destination spot.
It's gonna be interesting to see like what they would populate it with in terms of like I could see like also like all kinds of retail too. Like really when I was down there, the shops were pretty much like it's right within the ballpark, and it's kind of hidden, tucked in behind everything in the left field foul line, basically. And they had all kinds of stuff, like they had all kinds of hats and jerseys and stuff.
Oh, of course,
the Philly fanatic and whatnot. But it was back and behind. So if you think about it, back behind left field, you expand that out a little bit more.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Johnny, got to get you down there. Got to get you and your boys down there, man.
Oh, definitely.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So exciting things on the horizon. That's for sure with that. But I couldn't agree with you with Middleton too. I think he's probably one of the best. I mean, Lurie, then him, 1A.
Yeah.
In terms of ownership,
you win me a World Series. You could be 1A. Right now you're 2.
Exactly. Well, they're putting a winning product on the field finally. So I mean that's helping.
They've done that last couple of years, and I can't complain.
No, can't complain about that. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it, man.
Look at us. We did it.
I love it. Episode 144 is in the can. We're on to 145 when the real host of this episode or of this podcast, Steve Murray, returns back from his well-deserved vacation. Shout out down there, Steve Murray. I hope you're having a great time down there in Ocean City. Love it.
Get back soon.
Got it. Yeah, and safe.
Yes.
Got anything final to say, Johnny, before we get the heck out of here?
See you next week.
See you next week. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us here at Two Noobs Talking. If you want more of Two Noobs on social media, we're here for you. You can find us by searching Two Noobs Talking on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Clapper. Have a great week, and we look forward to delivering another great episode to you next week. Take care.